broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Yeah. That's how I sing.
AfterBuzzers, and welcome to another Vinyl After Show. Tonight we're talking Season 1, Episode 3, Whispered Secrets. And before we dive into all that, I want to make sure you guys out there subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/AfterBuzzTV. You can also catch all of our weekly after shows, including this one and all the others that we all do and everyone else does, on YouTube as well, and iTunes and SoundCloud. So go check it out, and while you're there, leave some comments and leave us a rating. 5 stars, por favor.
That's typically what we're going for.
Yeah,
5 stars.
5 stars, all the time. The best.
All day,
right, guys.
every day.
So, how did we feel about this week's episode?
Thoughts?
Initial just reaction.
I enjoyed this episode. I enjoy this show. I'm sticking with my theory on pace. The slowness that I think they're just going to stay at that musket speed, and they're just going to skip the handgun or the shotgun altogether.
Okay.
And they're just going to, like, one day this is going to make sense.
What episode are you expecting a ramp up in pace? Is the
5
question.
for
5.
3.
I hope.
Jeff's getting bored.
I'm getting a little bored.
It's going a little slow for me too, to be honest. So like I'm kind of a little disappointed in that factor. In that factor, yeah.
Yeah, things I like. The show is still funny. I'm still finding myself laugh, which that's important to me because I feel like if I'm watching a show with no humor, it's not my kind of show. And I was still laughing a lot this episode. But like some of the plots I was into are starting to get to be a real bummer. Like I feel like Devin and Richie, kind of a bummer subplot. Lester and Richie, kind of a bummer subplot. We'll get into that. Another problem I'm realizing I'm having with this show is a bit about format. And that's that there's all these like long game plot arcs, but there's not a lot of short game plot arcs. And I wish there were more of that because it's kind of like watching a 10-hour movie if we're not getting any resolutions at the end of any of these episodes.
I mean, we got the Nasty Bits resolution today.
Yeah, you're
right.
and the
bit,
Alice
like,
Cooper.
Yeah.
And like, and stuff like that, that's what this needs. And
Yeah, I just wish. I guess I didn't love the Alice Cooper subplot.
I actually
anyway.
really like the Alice Cooper subplot.
Yeah, I love that. I was
Maybe
I
you
love
guys can
that.
convince me today. We'll see.
I love the Alice
And I
Cooper.
realized we just dove right in and
Yeah.
I know.
That's
introduce ourselves.
Oh.
Guys, I'm Lauren Salaun. You can find me all over the internet at Lauren Salaun. And take it
I'm Steve
away.
Kaufmann. You can find me on Twitter at Steve Kaufmann. That's KAUFMANN.
And I'm Laila Sadny. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Laila Sadny.
Jeff Graham here. Find me on Twitter at Jeffrey C. Graham and the Insta at Jeffrey Crane Graham.
All right, so this episode starts off with a bunch of industry bigwigs at a banquet. You know, they're at a fancy pants party, and one of the funny things that I personally enjoyed from this is that one of my friend's dads is Neil Bogart. I mean, he passed away, but so that was when I'm like, oh my gosh, hey, texting my good friend about that, and he wrote back and he's like, yeah, the funny thing about that is my dad never had a mustache and he preferred brunettes over blondes, so that's their research anyway. But it was really funny, and so in that scene, that really just kind of shows us that kind of secrets out with what's going on with Richie and not taking that deal, and which apparently was news to Devin.
Yeah, she found out there.
And I think,
Yeah.
and that's what I felt that when she had that blow up, and they alluded to this with the dance floor scene that we got last week for the preview for this week, that I feel like part of her blow up was you didn't trust me to tell me, and you made this decision like while high. You've been high for like 3 days, 4 days.
Yeah.
You made a decision to keep moving on, and I just like part of the blow up is that it's not a communication. She doesn't feel like his equal.
Right, and it's one thing to find out after the fact, you know, when you're in a marriage like that. Yeah,
Right.
you're going to be pissed, but
Yeah.
finding out at a public
At a
event
public
like
event
that,
where all eyes are
she's
on
gonna
you.
look stupid,
Yeah.
you know, and she, I think she kind of saved face. She
Yeah,
didn't look
she
caught
acted
off
like
guard
she
with
knew
it,
or
but-
just didn't talk about it, but it was still like.
But yeah, from her perspective, you're like, oh, this poor girl.
Yeah. She's just going through it this episode.
I did love Ken Marino though. I'm a big fan of anyone from the state, and like I love Wet Hot American Summer and everything that whole crew does. And I thought he was well cast. I liked it. What's his name? Jerkins?
Yes. Oh, I forget what
Jerry
his name
Jerkins?
was.
Is that right? Well, either way, I think he's recurring. I read somewhere. So, big fan of Ken Marino. I'm excited to see more of him.
I really like the opening shots. It kind of goes, before the episode starts, but the opening shots on how, like, when the credits are running, the shots with like the concert and the people going and the drugs. I really like.
I like the title sequence a lot for sure.
Yeah. Grungy.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah,
it's pretty awesome. So, and then we've got us going back to Richie's meeting with Lester. He's talking to, what's his name, in the bathroom?
Maury?
Joe Corso.
Joe Corso.
In the bathroom. He's like, oh, I just met with Lester Grimes. Like, remember him? He's like, I only care about people who actually have, like, had hits.
Such a jerk.
Bro. I know, such a dick.
I mean, but it's true to the business.
Yeah, from the business side, for sure. And that scene was just so... I mean,
the scene
it was
with
what we were waiting for, to
Richie
see like
and him
what
talk,
that meeting would look like. With Lester and Richie, and he's a super of the building. Like, he's not doing anything in music.
Sad.
It's kind of like a sad life, and he can't
sing
sing anymore.
Keeps him grounded.
Yeah.
And when we see later, him feeling kind of inspired, and he pulls out his guitar, and we're all, I know we're all wondering,
we are like, what
does he sound like? What does he sound like? And
it broke my heart.
Gone.
Yeah, me too. Well, and then that flash, that like glimmer, the dream sequence that we saw is what's in his heart. Like, he was playing what's in his heart. It's just his throat literally can't do it.
Yeah. And you see him like there with this imaginary family and all these records on the wall.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, that scene was so sad.
It was sad. And then it cuts to like what his reality really is. It's just...
And from a selfish perspective too, it bums me out because I love his voice. Just like from a purely, as someone who likes music, that actor has just a wonderful voice. And so I hope... If he can't sing on the show, I hope we get more fantasy sequences just so we can hear him sing.
They were saying he has all those like recordings that they never did anything with. So hopefully, like,
I mean,
finally.
Once again, Spoiler City. Like the preview for next week looks like he burns one.
Right.
Yeah. He's in Richie's office though, at the label. So
he made it there.
Yeah.
But he talked a lot about how you're gonna release stuff that I can't tour with, that I can't redo, I can't put out a second album. Like, you just want to put out sessions I did before my throat happened. Like, why would I even want that? It would be a pity tour.
It's understandable.
Right. Yeah, I have a lot of hope for this plot, but as of right now, I'm like, I think we're setting the stage for something that's going to be great with Lester and Richie.
I think they show the scene with Lester like with the guy on the turntable.
Yeah.
So maybe he's like we said before, like he's kind of getting into like the funk early hip hop thing, and he's going to bring that to Richie. Hopefully,
I think that's where it's going for sure, because you see the wheels turning in his head when he's listening to that, and he's like, "Oh, you think like, he's what does he say? Like, do you think I'm onto something or whatever?" And he's like, "I don't know that you're making anything, but you're trying to. Like, where something is cooking."
And it kind of like puts that idea in our head. Like, so I don't know if you guys noticed, but like at the end of that scene, the end shot was of the turntables and the record, and it cuts to like the recording studio of the record with like awful music, and it's like, you can save the music,
right?
Lester. Exactly. So hopefully that's
that you can help with this person and bring in what became an early 80s hip hop.
Totally.
Like early 80s, late night, like that, like he's on the cusp of it.
Right.
With this guy and this DJ, and like there's something there that we're getting to see, but once again in this show's fashion, it's getting there.
It's getting
there. Like one day
it's almost there.
And once again, like if this were from different showrunners.
Right.
If this were different, like if this wasn't the Dream Team plus Mick Jagger, I think I'd be a little checked out by now, but I have a lot of faith.
Oh yeah.
I have a lot of faith in this team and what they're delivering, that one week, hopefully week 5, everything will just fall into place and we're like, what?
Exactly.
Vinyl.
Well, I do think that those little dream sequences that we are getting are starting to make more sense. Before, like the interstitial scenes, I feel like those before were just kind of thrown in there random to be like, look, a show about music, and now they make sense. Like we've got that flashback with Lester and the guy who's on the fire escape, essentially. Like they flow a bit more, and they've progressively folded into the storylines.
Yeah,
more
they make a little bit more
easily.
sense.
And there's
I agree.
more like narrative relevance. I think the blues song he chose to sing, the words were "I can't quit you, baby, but I had to put you down for a while," which is very poetic if you think about like that as a metaphor for his musicianship. So I think it's important if you're including music to make it have some kind of narrative significance.
Absolutely.
And it seems like the show is tending towards more.
Well,
more
and
towards that end.
especially a show about music where people are going to be picking it apart
Oh,
and
yeah.
like
Right.
Yeah.
fine tuning into what music
And
choices
especially
are
like
being made.
they're promoting all the music that's on
Right.
the show. You know, it's like a huge part.
But I think
so.
this week they felt less tied into like, oh, we have to play the hits.
Yeah.
If you will, like I think we're to the deep cuts of vinyl right now.
Which I'm great
Of
with.
just
Yeah.
that, like hopefully starting now, like it's not about because the first like 2 weeks they really had to get their stuff in.
Right.
Whereas this week it's just like no, but we're literally just gonna dig up whatever we want
Right.
and play it.
Whatever services the story.
Yeah.
That's what's nice. Is kind of like the admitted casual rock fan compared to you three. I won't be as easily wooed by the big hits, you know? So I love when the songs seem to have like a significance and meaning that contributes to the plot. So
well, and I think they should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
They shouldn't
they
just
should.
throw
It
music in
shouldn't
there
be
for no
random.
reason. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Tommy Cahill in the chat says that he thinks that all of Richie's personal relationships are going to fall apart, just like several things that we've seen Terence Winter do in, Sopranos, Boardwalk Empire. You know,
Right.
by the end, all these things have crumbled, like following in the aftermath.
I can see that.
of
You
our
see
main character.
the whole Ray Romano's character with him in the boardroom with all the A&R execs and how he's just kind of like, look, I'm the one keeping the lights on here. Like he just kind of lost his total like relationship with him after that whole punch in the nose, of course. But yeah, I agree.
Well, the literal and figurative punch in the nose.
Yeah,
Because by
seriously.
declining the deal, the record company got properly evaluated that the only one ever gonna make money on a sale is Richie.
Right.
Yeah, and everyone's pissed at him.
Of
They're
course,
like,
as
"No,
they
we
should
don't
be.
do money." Oh
Pissed.
yeah. They're like, we didn't want to back out. You're the only one that
Yeah.
did, and you made that decision for everybody.
And it's not like they were a financially solvent record company,
No. No.
like selling to a like it was.
they were like
no,
sneaking it in.
like literally we're
we made it.
And
we're
then
literally overvalued by like 300%. We're getting this deal, and then you throw this deal out.
Exactly.
It's like Shark Tank.
not a deal you're going to get again.
Take the deal. It's wonderful. You're dead to me, Richie
Finestra.
Finestra.
Wow.
Yeah.
I
No,
like
I can
the
do it
scene-
on my own.
I like the scenes with the nasty bits a lot this
Yeah. Me
too.
episode. I
I-
enjoyed that.
Definitely.
I kind of wish that had happened last week.
Do we dive into that? Are we talking?
Yeah,
just-
let's go there.
I definitely agree, Layla. I think as someone who felt like this episode was dragging a bit, once the nasty bits turned it on, I was like, this is the show I want to see. I was like, this is so alive and like so energetic and not quite as gloomy as the rest of the episode. And like Terence Winter and Martin Scorsese do dark stuff, but it doesn't need to feel gloomy, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That it could be what Terence Winter usually does with this gloomy is he picks one part of a person's life that's deteriorating and watches that go well.
Right.
And then you zoom out and you realize like no, Tony Soprano is still like a broken person.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
but he's got a boat.
Right.
He's got a boat and a
A huge house.
Really great. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I love it too. Well, and because we've all liked Jamie from the
Yes.
beginning, you know,
God,
she's
I
such a
love
little
her.
Yeah.
spitfire, and she, in all of this, you know, from finding a basement space with them. So
Yeah.
what do
Whoa,
we?
whoa, okay, what happened?
that was his
Let's
aunt.
talk
That had to
about
be was that her aunt or her mom?
I felt like it was
It's
her.
not
a
her-
ri- I don't know. It
I
wasn't
don't
her.
think it's her aunt because we saw the aunt, right?
Right.
Yeah,
At
we
the
saw
house.
her.
So
Could
it
it be her mom?
It has to
I
be the
think-
mom.
I thought it was her mom
I
because
think
when they
so, 'cause
exchanged
there
that
was
look.
such a connection.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there.
that wasn't some
was
random person.
And there was you're dead to me look.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's like, "Oh, I am the owner, but this was a mistake." You know, it's just some.
She had a
'cause
Russian
knows
accent,
how to
though.
Get in there.
So did the whatchamacallit the
Guy.
the aunt that I think she would be
Oh,
this
maybe.
Jamie would probably be like a first generation
Yeah.
American who ran away from home, and she even said you guys were supposed to be somewhere else, so she knows her mom's schedule,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then her mom just kind of
Yeah.
dropped in.
And that was a cut when she was, such a blow to her when she called the police, and
Yep.
she's like and
I
a blonde
know.
prostitute.
Yeah, they have
like,
guns.
come on,
Yeah.
they have guitars.
So we all think, because I thought it was the mom too, do we all think that?
I think we all think
think
that's the
so.
mom.
There's some, relationship there for sure.
Yeah.
And because I'm blanking on her name, the mother who plays that actress, she's a well-known actress, so it wouldn't just be a random some
cameo.
store owner, you know.
Right. There's a significance.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I forget her name too.
I know she was Sydney Bristow's mom in Alias.
Oh, so good. You're right. I didn't even put that together.
I should look it up right now. But anyway,
Yeah.
no, I love the Nasty Bits thing and with Jamie, and then even having the show, you know, them doing the show and playing the Kink song, and it's just so like watered down, and it's just like, what the heck is this? You know, this isn't even close to what I heard. What are you guys doing?
Right.
And how she takes full credit for that.
She takes the blame for it.
Because
the blame.
She takes the blame. I think
knowing she can turn it around.
so. That's because she knows she has to report to Jules. Is his name, right?
Julie.
She knows she has to report to Julie, and before she reports to Richie, so that if she throws Julie under the bus,
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out that political dynamic because I kind of got bummed out when she took the fall because I was like, this isn't the Jamie I wanted to see, but she's playing the game.
She played it right.
Yeah,
She was
Okay.
covering her butt, and then she hustled up there, and she's like, "Play the song!" And throws the bottle at them.
Yeah. So I mean, she got, not only did she kind of save Julie, she gets them to play what they should play, and gets Richie to come back in here, and that's so she worked it.
yeah, she made it work,
and
then
getting them signed.
Yeah.
You know, or I mean, that conversation going. We'll see how it all
Right.
He says sign them.
happens.
yeah, definitely, they're definitely getting signed, and then they're definitely going to play what was on the demo and what they were doing at,
Right.
which is a new sound, which I think hopefully we're probably going to get more of moving forward with Richie. Not like the people directly under Richie just don't understand what he wants.
Right.
No.
Where he keeps saying like that time, like I want music.
Once-
Well, he's like
New
high
stuff,
the
different.
entire time.
That
Yeah.
too.
Hard to
That
predict.
too, but and I think
A lot of people were.
And what I think is
He's like out of control.
what I think is interesting about Richie's character is that he's been high up until the end of episode 1, and he's been making great decisions musically.
Yeah.
Like he's had that
That
ear.
recklessness.
He's a-
that rock and roll.
He's had a reckless ear, but he's been high the whole time. So it's just this idea of like we should hate him and we shouldn't trust him. And in a normal business setting, he shouldn't have the position he has doing what he's doing. But in 70s rock and roll,
I think the drugs made him find the great music. When he
Yeah.
got sober, he got a little like boring.
Well, yeah, he got boring. They got really successful, so they got comfortable. They're spending all this money, having all this money come in. They're like, well, we're fine. We don't need to like reinvent the wheel or be as hungry as we were when we were starting all this. And now they do.
You do, yeah.
I've got 2 questions related to this. One, do we think that the Nasty Bits will get signed to this like new internal label, Atomic Boom or whatever?
yes.
And 2, this is a longer game question. We can maybe save this for predictions, but I kind of want to ask it now. Do we think Richie's being positioned to like succeed or to crumble and fail?
Like, do you mean succeed like in his business or like
Like in
personal, or-
episode 10, well, maybe I'm getting too far ahead, but like it's just interesting because Richie's getting more and more coked out, but more and more successful, and you never know with Martin Scorsese and Terence Winter how this
I know, 'cause
anti-hero
It's
they'll
true.
probably break our heart.
I know.
Yeah.
Is what's gonna happen. I'm like,
Yeah, I don't think
it's
I'm
gonna be great. He's turning his life around, and then like, no,
No, he's
I
going
know
on a
these
coke
movies
bender.
and these like
Well, no, but
TV shows. Like,
but
this
if
isn't going that
talk
way.
if you talk part to whole, like he still reports to a lot of masters
Yeah.
that I think
Like the cops? Like who are you thinking of?
no like those dudes. Those
Oh,
dudes,
Maury
yeah,
Gorsa,
Maury Gold, the Maury
Golasso.
Golds of the world, who clearly have the
and
money.
Gold, yeah.
Mafia.
Like his whole operation is so small potatoes to them that it's not even like, oh, you turned down a deal and now you're doing garage bands, whatever.
Right.
And actually, onto your first question, I was wondering about that with Lester Grimes being on the new label, or if they're just going to kind of put the random stuff into that.
Is he starting a new label or is he changing the name? Like taking
he's
his
starting
old...
a like
a
baby
sub-label, okay.
Because I
within his
think
label.
what he realized in that A&R scene is that there's stuff he has to do to keep the lights on, like
True.
make Christmas albums and
Yeah.
make Christmas albums and like really wrench out like Grand Funk Railroad and a bunch of people to like get money out of them, but to have his passion, which is what's so interesting is the dude's coked out of his mind, and he's still just like, you know what? In order for people to take all this seriously, I need to come up with a brand new label, specifically for bands like the Kinky Bits, It's the Nasty Bits.
Nasty bit.
I know.
This is
Yeah.
where
The kinks, the kinky bits.
we are way too far into this for me to.
I know every time I go to Reddit, I'm like, it's not kinky, but that's all I want to write in my
Because
notes.
it's the
every
kind of the
time.
kinks.
Yeah,
And then,
it is. Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yep. And then the new label Jamie is probably gonna head it up.
Yeah,
A&R.
I would love that.
Yeah, she's gonna be the A&R girl.
For some reason, I don't know if it's her actress or her character, but I freaking love Jamie.
I love her.
Oh,
I love her.
I've loved that
She-
actress for a while.
I feel like she's just lighting up the show. Like,
Yeah.
I really
I think
hope she
it's-
becomes more of a focus.
I think it's a combination of both. I mean,
Yeah.
her character's awesome, so written so well, and she does a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
But no, I do buy that she would, because she's the only A&R person that fits what Richie's vision is.
Right. And they're setting us up to have some like good win for her. You know, Julie is like crapping on her with like, oh, you're here to get sandwiches, hint hint, or
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
whatever he said when they're having the rehearsal. So they're setting us up to have that kind of victory.
When really,
for
I
her.
mean, she does have the ear for it. She like that's what
Yeah.
she is looking for. You know, so
yeah, and
she's
the
spot
the
on.
drive. For sure, she's scrappy. So what did we? I know we talked a little bit about the Alice Cooper situation.
I loved it.
I did too.
I thought they casted it.
That's what I was
so
gonna
was-
say. It was
too.
cast so well,
Yeah.
well. Like finally, like I think they did such a great job with like actual rock star casting that was like spot on.
Well, this was the first time we had to have a long,
Yeah.
like with the Led Zeppelin, Robert Plant.
Oh yeah, Robert Plant. Yeah,
Robert
yeah.
Plant.
He was
Like,
an
Robert
actual-
Plant, we didn't get enough of him to
Right,
like.
True.
That he only had to nail it briefly. Whereas Alice Cooper, like you have to nail that. You have to like.
Totally.
Like I wouldn't be surprised if they screen tested him as Alice Cooper, and if it didn't work,
Well,
they would have just done something else.
Yeah.
Because that you have to nail that. You can't not nail that.
Yeah, totally. And even with the golf scene, like he
That was
really
funny.
does love golf. Like
does.
it's like it was just so spot on.
Those things were so funny because it is like, yeah, you know, oh, you know, like I'm a real guy too. Like Alice Cooper's like our band and like the persona and stuff. But then they are such ridiculous rock stars.
Yeah.
Same,
Right.
like snakes on the golf course, like
Bottle of whiskey all the time
Yeah,
in
the
his
party
hand.
they're at, and like all these
Naked girls.
girls naked everywhere, the guillotining.
Oh, and the whole time Clark was the A&R guy.
Yeah.
He was just playing him like
I
the
know,
whole time.
he's such a goober.
I know.
He's like, get your hand off me, girl. He's like, oh, a drink? He's like,
Yeah.
I'm working. You
Yeah.
know?
He's a fun character.
I like him.
He's a little like his flaws are more apparent. Like I feel like it's not like the hidden flaw, but it's just like it's more like
Yeah.
the side funny character.
Yeah, but his drive is that like
I know. Yeah.
his drive is there. The fact that he didn't want to. I think they might have been the Doobie Brothers, but the Doobie Brothers like act like that he had zero interest
Oh god,
in
he
being.
wanted to kill himself.
He had zero interest in being a part of that.
Right.
Which fits into what Richie is actually looking for. He's looking for that hunger for someone to actually have a good ear for what works, B, understand the business, but C, have that drive to bother Alice Cooper in the hallway.
He's
Yeah.
hustling.
Totally,
Like,
yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, you pass by and he's like, okay, I'm not going to like.
can't not
I'm
talk
not-
to
he
him.
might like slap me in the face or something,
Whatever.
but I'm going to say hi.
Yeah, I can say hi.
Go for it. Yeah.
Fun fact about that actor: Dennis Quaid and Meg Ryan's son.
Yep, Jack Quaid.
Yeah.
Oh.
Can you see it now?
Yeah.
Like the
Yep.
eyes are
Oh,
very
totally.
Meg Ryan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Graham.
I guess I'm
Instagram.
our quasi news and gossip guy.
Yeah,
Awesome.
that was nice.
Well, he did a great job. He
Yeah.
was spot on, Alice Cooper.
For sure.
So let's talk a little bit about Devin's situation. So I felt like I have now reached I've had enough of Devin staring sadly into the
Agreed.
distance.
Yeah.
She's
Yes.
like, yeah, like she is.
I don't.
We've had
We get it.
the-
She's
Not
stuck.
without reason.
We've
you
had the
know?
maximum amount.
Yeah,
Right.
I
It's
mean,
very well justified, but I'm like, okay, we got to mix this up, girl, because there's way too much staring into the distance because you're so unhappy with your life and then having
which
a flashback
I
or
think
something.
we're gonna get because if you saw the preview,
Yeah.
she's getting a little
She's getting
pissed.
like
Right,
she's
and
finally
not just
and even
helpless.
but even this episode where she like
Oh,
get
she
out of my
stood
bedroom.
up to him.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
stood up to him, get out of my bedroom.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, and like I said, completely justified because this is something that Richie said she could have. You know, she's been talking to him since they had one little baby about having a project or doing
She wants
something.
to work. She wants to do
you
something
know?
with her life other than
She
be a
wanted
mom.
to work with him.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, you don't even get me coffee at home and all
Right.
this stuff. And so she's been just itching to have some sort of project and something that's hers, getting out of the house a bit. And finally she has this that based on that flashback was like a suggestion of his almost starting that dance company there.
Yeah.
And then he, you know, pulls it out of under her by
Not
going
having
back
money.
on what they agreed. you
Right,
know?
right.
And just like how humiliating that situation was for her to take this gorgeous portrait by Andy Warhol, which is worth so much money back then.
And it was priceless to her.
Yeah, and
Which
it
was
signified a time in her life,
And like something she never really wants to sell, never wanted to sell, and because that's where Richie put her, in over her head financially, because because the people she was talking to just had no idea, A, that it was her in the picture, but also B, that
they're like, oh well,
she's not.
We want to sell 2. Go have them go back.
Yeah,
go
we
back
need to come
Andy.
up. Like we need to come out with another 10,000-20,000. Like that's because their career is fundraising and they have just millions sitting.
Well, that's another scene that I really loved was the Andy Warhol scene with
Yes.
her, and he did actually film people like that and ask them like these crazy questions and kind of just like focus on their
such
emotions.
a little weirdo.
Yeah,
He's
he
so
was.
cool.
So
Well
artsy. I
cast
love him.
too. John Cameron Mitchell was a good.
Yeah. I get such Dana Carvey vibes from him.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah, I
Yeah,
love it.
the whole
yeah.
time. So I have a hard. It brings me out of it because I very much see Dana Carvey.
I still
when
take
I'm
him
watching
seriously though.
I do.
Yeah.
But I get a lot of Dana Carvey from it.
That's fair. I've liked John Cameron Mitchell for a while, that actor, so I feel like I can see where you're coming from. They have a similar look a little bit.
So
It's
sometimes
little-
I'm like, are you really Dana Carvey playing Andy Warhol?
It's like
Are
two
you?
Wayne's World for you. The combination of Dana Carvey and Rock. That would take me out of it.
No,
for
but
sure.
I think he does a really great job of it.
playing Andy Warhol.
and those scenes are so interesting. And you can tell that Andy, like, they had a special relationship, and he does care about her. And it's just
kind of humiliating though.
It
Like
is
he's
so
like, he says,
humiliating.
"Do you want me to sign your dress?" Like,
yeah,
come
which
on.
he's like, he was very like pretty socially awkward, so that could have been a completely genuine
totally,
thing,
you're
but
right.
also is so like,
degrading.
I'll sign this napkin for you too.
Right.
Like, I'll sign
it's
the
like-
gum on your shoe.
Because he's I think he's kind of everything she wanted to be when he made that photo of just somebody who's just like, money is fleeting, whatever.
Right.
Which is funny coming from Andy Warhol, who had so much, had so much of it. It's that weird game in life that if you don't care about it, you'll probably get it.
Yeah.
I felt so bad just for her to have to sell that picture too, because I mean that represented like her whole past that she's like regretting, like she's not there anymore, and that just
Symbolic of her happiness.
Yeah.
Her former happiness.
totally.
I will say Olivia Wilde knocked it out of the park with that scene.
Yeah.
It was so like understated, but like really I could tell what she was feeling. I think she like really acts with her eyes a lot, which is really good. But again, I wish her character. It's funny, the actress has so much range that I really want her character to have more range, because we've seen sad Olivia Wilde. I really want to see angry Olivia Wilde.
Yeah,
and
we're
she's
getting
great.
tastes
gonna
of
get
it,
there.
So yeah,
We're gonna get
I
it.
think
Yeah.
I think we'll start seeing another side to her. But yeah,
Yeah.
definitely done with the staring into the ether and
Carpenter
just being
songs and-
upset about things.
Time to get mad.
Yeah, get angry and yell at him.
Yeah.
All right, so big shocker, but not really shocker. We find the body.
Yes.
of
Yes, we do.
Buck.
That's-
Or some kids find
Some
it. Ew.
kids.
Did you guys notice how it just like the head like flopped when they
Yeah.
opened it up? I was like, ooh.
Very gruesome.
And let's be
Very
fair.
rubbery.
If they were paying Andrew Dice Clay by the episode, he got another episode.
I know.
This is his reappearance.
I don't know if you're giving him a day rate or what.
I just want to see the twin brother.
I know.
Right?
I don't know if there'll be a
that
like.
I'm being sarcastic,
It's-
but I
That would
really
be
would
so
like
funny.
to. Actually.
If that
Built for
happened.
like 3 more episodes though.
Well, there has to be
Flashbacks?
next week. There'll be a
Flashbacks.
flashbacks because it looks like next week we're getting his funeral.
Yeah.
So there will likely be a flashback because we don't know how Richie knows him and how, to a certain extent. No, we actually got some of that, but still.
And like regarding the flashbacks, this is another small problem I still have. I still don't feel like they're giving us a ton. And I feel like they almost feel constrained to the flashback format because we haven't seen an episode without them yet. And I really want them to be like revelatory, like really show us something. Because I feel like all the flashbacks have been like Devin and Richie used to be happy. And like we know that.
And how he used to be successful and the label used to be something much more
We already
than
know
it
that
is.
stuff.
Right.
Like I really
Right.
want our minds to be blown by these. I said that last week, but
No,
I
I'm
either
with
want
you.
them
I agree.
to ditch the flashbacks or really make them mean something.
See, I want them to either really make them mean something revelation wise, or be like season 1 of Arrow, where they're just counterpoints.
We need more info in the flashbacks.
Yeah.
A
Right.
lot more. You're right.
And I feel like they don't have enough info backwards.
Right.
Yeah.
Unless, but like Ray Romano's character, if he had a flashback, or like, I think
I
they
know.
would have it if other characters got flashbacks.
I'd love
Yeah.
that.
Without Richie at all.
Because
Yeah.
even this episode, the flashback with Lester, it's literally, he tells what's his name? It wasn't. He tells Maury Gold in the bathroom, "Oh, I met with Lester. Remember him?" And it's like literally the flashback is from like the day before.
Right.
What's the point of like, you know, because like you said, we're following that flashback format. Is that necessary, or could we have just seen that more chronologically? You know.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, but like little things like that where it does feel
that was
like
something new.
I'm like,
though.
wait, how far back did we go? He still
maybe
got that cut on his face. I'm like, that was like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
You know, that was just a
And
few
maybe
hours earlier.
maybe it's very clear with Richie's flashbacks because he has a mustache or he doesn't.
That's true.
Right.
Like visually, we can always stay on task.
Yeah.
Like when is this?
All right, the stash is there.
Mustache. All right.
We have
I'm on board.
short hair, clean
rough
cut
does
Richie,
Richie look?
porn stash Richie.
Pre-stash or post-stash?
Yeah,
Where we at?
exactly. Yeah.
PS or PS.
Oh gosh. So I mean, as far as, and so with the whole discovery of the body, we've got Joe Corso, who has mob ties, I believe, and he has been trying to get a hold of Richie and all this stuff, and he's the one who has this new artist slash lady friend that he's bringing through, and they've kind of got Richie's back, I guess, with regard to the body. I mean, that's
it's
the
kind of
hope.
iffy.
Well, he talked about it last week, and it was this. Oh, it's all good. He's just some 2-bit, like he's just some 2-bit radio guy. Nobody's gonna find the body, and now somebody found the body.
Right.
I think he's a bigger deal in radio. Like, I think he's a bigger deal than they're making it out to be.
Buck is?
It looks like Buck is a pretty big deal.
Yeah, I think he is.
Well, he had a nice place, didn't he? Like,
He had a really nice house,
And he had that.
He
was supposed to be at that.
banquet with them.
if you work in entertainment and your place is that big, you're well known. You know what I mean? Because I feel like entertainment, you're either making nothing or you're making a lot.
Yeah.
Or you have a day job.
Well, you have
Or
a
you're
Exactly.
You just have a.
exactly.
I'm a venture capitalist.
Yeah.
I just act at night.
Yeah, exactly.
I've described my future.
Well, yeah, he probably made a ton of money because back then, like, the radio DJs had such power. Like, they got
Literally.
paid to play, you know, so. Yeah.
So I have a question for you, Steve.
Yes.
You were saying early on that you think the murder is still just the MacGuffin that's going to drive. Do you still think that?
Yes.
Okay.
But I think in true MacGuffin fashion, and we kind of know that now, that like in the past 2 weeks, the police going after Richie didn't care about Buck at all.
Right.
Haven't
but now
even.
Buck has been discovered.
Now Buck has been discovered, and I think Buck is small potatoes to what Richie knows and what Richie can help.
Yeah.
But I think ultimately, the other guy's gonna go down for Buck.
Yeah.
And it's all gonna be small potatoes, and it's MacGuffin.
Okay.
But it's
It's
gonna
gonna string us along and have that pressure and that.
And it's also the reason
stress.
Richie fell off the wagon and is on a bender and is making a sub label and turning down deals. Like, it's a inciting incident, but it's ultimately MacGuffin.
Yeah, because this show is not about Richie going down for murder.
Yeah.
You know.
Exactly.
That would be a different show.
Yeah.
It'd be Law and Order, Order R&R. Rock and roll.
Harder, you know. Yeah, exactly. But it's so interesting how like flippant he is. Corso is about the whole thing. He's like, "Oh no, it's fine. We got it." And
Corso
he's like,
strikes me as a guy who's killed and
Yeah,
buried
several
many a
people.
body.
Yeah.
Where he's
Not a
just
big
like,
deal.
nah.
What do you think? And he's like, "No, what are you talking about?" He's like, "Oh, the tape, duh."
Yeah.
So like, oh, okay,
It's
we're back
Scorsese.
on
It's
to that.
Winter and Scorsese.
Just
It's
like-
gotta be one of those casual mobsters.
Just like, hey, FYI, they found the body. By the way, that girl I brought in.
Yeah.
Do you like it? You like it?
How's the music? And he was actually going to listen to it too, like when he called.
He was about to press play anyway.
And then the phone rings, and we were all talking before we went live about how she's not good.
Yeah.
And,
It's a rough demo.
a rough demo, but he's gonna have to sign her, to keep his.
Was that the only one who thought? Like, from a rough demo standpoint, I thought there was something there that could have been polished.
I couldn't tell what they wanted us to hear.
Well, the song's iconic, and she's a good songwriter.
Yeah.
I'll give her that. But I thought,
I think it was a demo, so she was covering that song that already existed. So I think I don't know. I saw something in it. Maybe I'm weird.
Well, no, I was positioned
it's not
to
like
not
she
know.
was like really off key.
Yeah, she
or
wasn't.
anything like.
There was
she
nothing
didn't
that
sound
made her.
like
There was nothing that made her
Screaming
bad,
Cats,
and I feel like, I don't know. It was so simple that I kind of enjoyed it, and I think that song had a huge counterpoint to what he was going through with Devin.
Yeah.
That I thought he was definitely going to feel something more from the lyrics of the song.
Okay.
And the way she sang it than like her by the numbers approach to singing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I felt that, and then that's what we're missing, or I'm wrong.
No, I think it definitely made him feel it was so relatable to what's going on.
Or maybe
him
I'm
and
going
Devin.
through some stuff. Either or. Like,
Did you
What did it
kill
say to
a
you?
radio
Yeah.
DJ, Steve?
man.
It's been one of those days.
Where's Ryan Seacrest?
No, it was Kevin and or Bean. I can't tell them apart.
But yeah, so he's gonna have to add her to the roster, and we'll see where that goes. Probably nowhere. She'll get shelved or something. But
I would like that. That would be a fun subplot, like a nepotism requirement. And,
Yeah.
and she's terrible. Like,
Or that he has a place, or that he already has a place that he puts these artists.
Yeah.
That he just required signs.
That would be a fun. I think nepotism is an important thing to examine in like an entertainment industry show. So I would really like to see. I hope she's bad, but like needs to stay.
Yeah.
So I think that would be fun to see
Yeah.
Richie deal
Yeah.
with that shit.
And Jamie has to work with her.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that would be interesting.
She would
They're
go
like, this is your first
crazy.
artist.
Or Yankovic. Like, there's so many different approaches.
Yeah.
To
Clark.
take, yeah. We'll see.
Clark can take her with the
Or Clark.
with the
Clark
Denham
and Nick.
brothers.
The
Oh,
Denham
gosh.
brothers.
Yeah. All right, y'all. I think we hit on everything. Anything else we're missing?
I think we got it all.
I feel like we did get it
I
all.
think we got everything covered.
I think so. I know. I mean, Richie's coke habit, obviously, we talked about that, is getting more and more out of control. Like, what he's meeting with Lester, and his nose is literally bleeding while he's in there.
Yeah, and did you see the scene where he's trying to put it in his drink, and was he trying to drop something in his drink?
In his own drink?
Yeah, in his
Oh, I
own
missed
drink.
that.
He had like his cocktail at home, and he opens up the little baggie or the packet, and there was nothing in there, and he tries to sprinkle
Oh,
it.
yeah.
his
Yeah.
drink.
So he's like
He's drinking it now
nonstop,
too.
nonstop.
In the comments, let those of you who use that drug, let us know if that's a thing. Can you just sprinkle it in?
I think you can.
Can you do a vodka cranberry and then sprinkle it? Is
Edible?
that a?
I don't know. I'm
trying to think of a cool name
Jeff,
for-
you're looking through your notes.
I was trying
Anything
to
we
see. I
missed?
think we're good. One thought I had, I did miss Yankovic this episode, which
Yeah.
is Ray Romano's character.
I'm glad his
I,
nose is healing.
Yeah,
I think
that's
it
one
feels
thing.
like right now the balance is a little too Lester skewed for me. Like, I wish we could see more of the satellite characters, but maybe we will. I mean, it's about not Lester.
Yeah.
I meant to say Richie.
Richie.
Sorry.
Yeah, Richie.
Okay.
In my head, I was saying Richie. So I feel like it's very much like a Richie's Journey show. I'd like to see the world get a little bigger, I think, because I like the side characters a lot. So I wish the percentage were less 90-10, more 80-20.
Okay.
That
Yeah.
makes sense.
Okay.
So we'll see.
I can work with that.
Well, we got a
Yeah.
lot of Yankovic last week. That I
We
think-
did.
Yes.
You're right.
And I
He's
think
just
our-
so great.
I love
like,
him. So
yeah. Like I said, I think we're all in for something here.
I hope, Steve.
We have a lot.
All right, should we dive into some predictions?
Let's do it.
Do we have some? Oh, here we go. Oh, it's
Now, your
there we go. Oh,
pink.
thanks for those fun lights.
Yeah.
All right, what are we thinking? I think we're obviously gonna see Devin put her foot down and kind
Yes.
of make a stand and make some moves for herself, and see that character go in a different direction. I think that Lester is gonna. I think he's gonna. They're gonna figure out some sort of not deal, but some sort of partnership in some way. Mm-hmm. I feel that coming soon.
He's definitely going to work with Richie, because part of what we saw in that vision of his is that his ultimate want
yeah.
is to be
With you.
yeah. But his ultimate want is to be the guy he was on track to be before
Right.
that accident happened, and Richie is giving him a chance. Mm-hmm. Like in life, you never get exactly what you want, but like Richie's throwing him that path.
You thinking it too? Yep.
yeah.
What?
Don't always get. Yeah.
Sorry.
I
Steve.
know.
There's just so
Yeah.
many.
It's right there.
Opening the door.
So that I think he's definitely going to try to do business with Richie, and I guess
Yeah.
because they're going to release an LP, and then he's going to manage other bands,
Yeah.
or there's some type of surgery that money, because he probably if he's a super of a building probably doesn't
True,
have money,
true.
so maybe there's some type of surgery that could help him.
Right. Something that he
I
can
think-
get that.
Yeah, I think the new label that Richie's starting, it's gonna be Lester like running it, Jamie and Clark, and they're just they're gonna blow up and just yeah, I think they're gonna do really well. And Devin, yeah, she's gonna find out about the murder, I think. Yeah, and
To give her a little power over him,
Right.
in a real way.
exactly. And I don't really know if she's gonna hold it over him, or kind of use it to her, so I feel like I seeing her like using it to her advantage. Like, look, we had a contract, no one does drugs in this relationship.
Yeah.
You're breaking it, maybe she'll leave him.
I think she'd have to, because I don't see him taking that well. Like, I don't see him taking that like a puppy dog. I think I see him saying like, I don't care, I provide, you're doing what you're doing, and then I see her like literally just like leaving him,
Right.
taking the kids and going somewhere.
I don't see her doing it forever or for a long period of time. I see her doing it as like a
warning shot.
She's
yeah,
feisty
calling
though.
her
She's
bluff
gonna
sort of thing.
like, well, no, it's a semi-bluff. She's gonna
Yeah.
leave for like 2 nights,
Right,
and
right,
he's
right.
gonna realize how incredibly lonely he is, and he's gonna try to get back on the wagon,
and that he
then-
does need her, and
You're right, because he gets in the ending scene, he gets so lonely when she's not there. It's like so strange for him that like to come home and her not being there, that you take things for granted, and when you do.
Here's a question I have.
good.
Devin is sober on all substances, correct?
Yeah, she's sober.
yes.
So when she drank that wine at the beginning of the episode, that was her equally defined contract, right?
Right. Now, is she sober from? Do we think from
This-
a similar like getting out of control standpoint?
Yes, I think they were getting out of control together.
both of them.
That
Yeah,
was
but-
a really interesting play on her part, because it was like,
Yeah.
I can play this game too.
Oh, yeah.
And the kind. I want to see her go off the wagon.
I want to see
Both
her
of them, those
flashbacks
children.
Yeah.
Both of them going crazy.
I'd like that.
I'll get more drunk than you.
I know. I think that would be it's a dynamic that hasn't been explored yet, and that can be a leverage point for her, because if she's just as broken as he is on substances, he can realize the stakes in a self-reflective and external way, if that makes sense.
Well, there's those relationships that are kind of like, they start off with that whole like dependency of each other, and then
Right.
the drugs, and she's definitely just as bad as him. She's controlling it more.
Right.
The kids. Well,
The
it's
kids.
like reach the mom, the kids, like,
The health.
and that too.
Yeah. One thing I liked about this episode, I liked the idea about this episode was the fact that Alice Cooper subplot was contained. I maybe just because I'm not a huge Alice Cooper fan, it didn't really resonate with me, but I hope we see self-contained plots in episodes, and I think we will now that we're in the middle of the season, just so we're not waiting.
It looks like we're getting one next week too, with Richie.
Yeah.
That he has a brand new client. I think it was that Grand Funk. I didn't hear the names for the preview.
I didn't hear the name of it.
But I would like to see subplots with sub characters. So like maybe we see more of Yankovic's home life in an episode, or like just because that stuff can be funny too.
I'd like to see more Jamie's, like
Well, I
everyday
think
life
we
and
will.
We're gonna
backstory.
start seeing that now
Any
Yeah.
predictions
with
there
the mom.
I know we're running out of time, but what's the deal with Jamie?
I think she ran away from her mom. Like, I
Yeah.
think I wouldn't be surprised if it was just typical immigrant story that I came here, started a business, made everything great for
Yeah.
you, and now I've laid out your life for you.
And you don't want to do it.
And, like,
you want
she
to go
just-
do music.
Yeah.
I just feel like the decision to call the cops and call her a blonde prostitute. It seems like it's gonna.
It's like
I
kind
feel
of
like
awesome.
I feel like she had to have rebelled at some point.
Something
like, really
really
hard.
But didn't we in the pilot episode? Didn't her aunt say your mom's been calling?
Yes.
Yeah, because
So
like
it's-
she might have ran away from home.
She's staying with her aunt. I guess.
So it didn't seem like there was that big of a rift
Right.
then.
Maybe
It's like,
it's
oh,
not
your
her
mom's
mom.
calling, you need to call her back. Sort of thing.
I wonder.
know.
Well, she
Maybe-
says you
okay.
can't stay here that much longer.
Yeah.
So,
I just had a thought. What if Jamie got into some really bad stuff, and that woman's kind of like a pimp, and like Jamie actually was like a prostitute,
no.
and then she that might be a lot.
I don't think that's
you would
the way it went.
you would win if that were you would win predictions.
It seemed like there might have been a business vendetta between them.
No, it's
I
like a
felt
personal,
personal.
I think.
Okay.
I think that's mom.
We'll
For
see,
sure.
guy. Maybe I don't know.
Perhaps.
Hey, it's okay. We don't know, but I think that's the way it's going.
We'll see.
Alrighty, everybody out there. Thanks so much for tuning in, all y'all out there. Be sure to check back with us every week, 4 p.m. Pacific. You guys can find all of us online as well, and be sure to tweet to us, comment. We've got the live chat up, so when we're doing our thing, tune in with us and talk to us live. My name's Lauren Salaun. You can find me everywhere online at Lauren Salaun.
My name's Steve Kaufmann. You can find me on Twitter at Steve Kaufmann. That's Kaufmann. I'm also on Instagram, Steve_Kaufmann, but I only Instagram on Thursdays. I'll probably be in this very room in about an hour to cover Gotham, because Gotham is back tonight. Those of you who cross over.
and I'm Laila Sadny. You can find me on Instagram or Twitter at Laila Sadny.
Jeff Graham is my name. You can find me on Twitter at Jeffrey C. Graham. I've probably had less awkward intros before, but and then you can find me on Instagram at Jeffrey Crane Graham.
Awesome.
So many grams.
So many grams. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.